Everybody, welcome back to the Sixer Sense podcast. I'm your host, Lucas, with Chris. We have friend of the podcast, Ben Franczuszki. And I didn't do a good enough job hyping him up last time, so let me hype him up for you guys here. He is the co-host of my friend of my podcast, of another podcast that I do, NBA Now and Then, The Greatest Comparisons. Ben is also a Hollywood actor. Yes, he's been in your favorite shows like 911 and NCIS. What was it, Los Angeles or New Orleans?
LA.
Yeah. So, yes. So, he's been in other stuff, too. A lot of Sundance films, right, Ben?
Yeah, kind of. I mean,
yeah,
festival
stuff. Films. Yeah. So, that being said, Ben, welcome back.
Thanks for having me, guys. But most importantly, I'm a Sixers fan. So
yes, he's the biggest Sixers fan I probably know.
I'm up there. Lucas, you're pretty dialed in too, so I would give yourself some credit.
I mean, look, me and Chris wrote about them for about 7. Chris? What was you through 6 years or 7 years?
A long time, probably like 10 years, honestly.
Yeah, since we both started. Yeah, you were in high school. I had just finished college the year before. It was 2016 when we started as non-paid contributors. Then you got site expert at the Sixers Sense in 2017. I got Valley of the Suns in 2017. Then I came back over after Brett left in 2018.
Yeah,
that's a good era to start in. You guys kind of missed
it was a fun time. We had some good times. Yeah, we had some really good highs there. But all good things must come to an end, except for this podcast. We tried to end this, but it didn't stay down.
Keep on kicking, yeah.
We kept on kicking somehow. But anyway, we're not here just to talk about our history with the Sixers. We're here to talk about the present with the Sixers.
That's right, guys. Ben, we're excited to have you on again. We're going to run through the 2 games here pretty quick that we've played over the last few days. We'll start with the game against Sacramento. That was a 113-111 Sixers win. Pretty classic story. 2 pretty tough quarters there in the first half, and then a real letdown, disaster kind of third quarter where we let Sacramento run out to a lead. And then Philly turns it on late, comes back, wins in the fourth on a pretty impressive Tyrese Maxey go-ahead layup off of a dribble handoff with Joel Embiid. 40 points for Maxey in this game with 8 assists. Joel had 37 and 8 assists of his own. Not much from the bench. 15 for Paul George, RIP. We'll talk about that later today, later in this podcast.
To be continued.
To be continued. He will be seen again. Ben, we'll go to you first. What were your big takeaways from this game?
This game or the Kings? Are we talking about the Kings game?
Yeah, the Kings game, yeah.
Kings game was, I gotta be honest, the play calling at the end. We've had a couple, Nurse has been getting a lot of criticism, myself included, but I think it's the reps of Maxey and Embiid's. You're just seeing it. They've been playing together most of the season, and it's the reps of guys knowing where they're on the court late in the game, but really just Embiid's presence and how good he is offensively frees Maxey up a lot. And so I've been noticing the last couple minutes where we usually struggle, we've actually been kind of clutch. I think that's the consistent thing. And then we were down a player. The biggest thing is I've actually had friends who are like Knicks fans, and they're like, I had a friend I was working with the other day, is a Warriors fan, and Sixers are on national TV a lot. He's like, what's with your rotations? And I'm like, you noticed it too? And it just seems to be that third quarter. I think the Sixers could easily have about 4 or 5 more wins if they just did some tweaks with their lineups in the third quarter. And it could be a roster construction thing, because I think PG, Embiid, and Maxey combined for 92 points, and we barely beat the Kings. And that's unacceptable. That's
we have better scoring talent than that.
Yeah. So, but I got to give Nurse credit. That's a game we lose earlier in the season, I think. And I think that they kind of woke up, and the end of game play was actually pretty nice. So that's my biggest takeaway. This is a game we normally lose, and the fact that we won it, I'll take that.
Did anybody notice that Zach LaVine was coming off the bench, and is that a normal thing right now?
It's weird watching these like journeyman teams, both these teams, because it's like I feel like people are. I don't know about you guys. I'm like, oh, I want that guy. Like when there's these teams that are just like clearly tanking for picks, and yeah, you wonder like why they're bad. I guess they've just got too many ISO players. There's just not enough. But that's sort of
yeah.
yeah, and I felt like that was a game we normally would have lost. Um, just no production from the bench. I thought McCain deserved more minutes. Grimes had it. Grimes didn't play, right?
No, he did not.
I think you saw tonight. Jared's kind of back. His confidence is back. He's consistently like hitting threes. So I think he deserves more minutes. And the fact that obviously Paul George is out, that's the big difference. And I think Jared McCain actually kind of won us the game. I think his minutes, his 3-point shooting, his two-man game. I saw a tweet where in the first half, I think the Embiid McCain minutes were plus 22.
Well, we'll get to that game. Let's wrap it up with the
I would say I'm fine with the win. A win is a win with this team, and the fact that we're getting better in the clutch. Kudos to Nurse. That's how I'll land it.
Yeah, I like I said, my thing is why was Zach LaVine not starting? That seems a little bit too weird.
So he's coming off an injury. So
okay. Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, look, I mean, VJ had a rough game, but he had the fourth most shots. This was a surprisingly quiet Kelly Oubre game. That was weird. I don't think you usually get that much quiet from Kelly. I think our biggest issue right now is rebounding, and we'll talk about trade stuff, I'm sure, but like the Drummond Bono minutes, either one is just not doing enough for me personally.
No.
Right now. So
and you see a backup center like Missy tonight, and you're just like, even we got to upgrade that position.
Yeah, I think that's fair. 46 rebounds for Sacramento in this game, 24 for the Sixers. Winning that game with that split is frankly pretty impressive.
That's impressive.
A lot of it again just comes down to Maxey and Joel being better than everyone else on the court by a pretty comfortable margin. That has been the case these last couple weeks. Is those two are just so clearly a level above, and that's kind of helped maybe paper over the fact.
Yeah,
Chris, I think there's 24-0. Did it stay that way? I think we lost the fast break points 24-0, and we somehow won.
I'm not 100% sure, but I will say that I am not I don't want to see too much of Maxey and Embiid ball though. That's not good for the team's offense overall, to where they just dominate a whole game. But I mean, it worked out in this game. That being said, if we're ready to move on to the Pels game from tonight, shout out to Uriah for being at the game, former producer of this podcast, founder and host of NBA Now and then The Greatest Comparisons. The Sixers won that game 124-114, though it felt like it got a lot closer than it needed to, especially in the third quarter yet again, guys. Thoughts on that, Ben?
Pelicans are a big team. They've got a lot of wings. They've got a lot of two-way wings. The Sixers, we are down our best wing defender, 6'9", Paul George. He's probably our best defender this season consistently, and he's our best three-point shooter. We'll get into that later, but you saw that tonight. The Pelicans were just attacking the rim. It was nice to see. I would say Joel had like a lot of contests. I don't know if you guys noticed that. And he had a couple offensive rebounds. So they were attacking him, but I thought he did a good job. It was the best I think I've seen him look in around the rim in teams attack. But similar thing, the Sixers play 4 guards, 6'4" and under. And when I think that's fine because Grimes and VJ play bigger than they're 6'4", 6'5". They play bigger than their size, but you just see they aren't great rebounders as well, and so we just get out rebounded. Guys they attack us at the rim, they shoot over us, and I'd say the Pelicans are a team that has a lot of size, and this is kind of what worries me if we played like a Detroit, like in the playoffs, just the length. And so I think at the deadline, they do need to get they just need to get another wing, especially given what happened with Paul George, because I think they're just too small. that's sort of what stands out. Why the Pelicans were in the game. They just kept attacking the rim with Sadiq Bey. And there's a couple players that I'd like on the Pelicans. So Herb Jones, Sadiq Bey, Missy. Let's make some phone calls, Daryl Morey. And but good win again. Clutch. Same thing. I think that's what we gotta. Nurse found a lineup that worked. He played McCain more minutes, and I think this is a game we lose because Jared McCain, I think, did he have 3 threes?
4 threes.
He had 4. He had 2 in the third, or in the stretch where Maxey was out. He kind of they cut it to 2 or 3, and then McCain hit a 3, bringing it back to 6, and just that type of stuff is what this team's really needed. So it's really promising to see Jared McCain just look comfortable out there, hit comfortable shots. Seems to understand the offense. They run a little bit of a Maxey and Embiid 2A game with Jared and Embiid out there. It's kind of nice to see. So there's some promising stuff. VJ was clutch again. Really good defense. Just a little small. I'd love a trade or two at the deadline, just to beef up the length.
Yeah, I think those are all good points. I agree on the Messi point, especially. I would quite like him as a backup center. It seems like his name is kind of popping up in various rumors.
He might cost you a first, right? Because he's good.
Maybe like a few seconds, which Philly really doesn't have, so it could get tough. But yeah,
I mean, you could trade Bona, and you'd probably have to throw in one other player, maybe Trent Walford.
Yeah, maybe it's definitely doable. If
I have
Daryl wants...
Why didn't Edwards play tonight? Just not a good matchup. Interesting.
Yeah. Nick Nurse didn't want to do it.
I mean, he's just been so tough offensively this year. Look, 40 in this game for Joel to kind of make up for a pretty mediocre Maxey game. Double-double for Kelly, who kind of bounced back from that quiet Kings game. I think your roster points are right on, Ben, in that it's not that they don't have bigger guys. Like, they have Jabari Walker and Trendon Watford and Barlow, but those guys are just kind of one-dimensional. Like, Barlow really doesn't give you anything offensively. Same with Walker.
Yeah.
Watford is the inverse of that, where he gives you a lot of fun stuff offensively, but the defense and the rebounding isn't really where you want it to be most nights. So they just need kind of a more well-rounded power forward, big three type of guy, I think. I think that should be the top priority if the Sixers can get there. There's been a lot of talk about trading Andre and just trying to duck the tax. We'll kind of talk about how the Paul George situation impacts that. But if they can get a bigger wing type that can do a little bit on both sides, that would be really, really nice. But the clutch point is also good because, like, Philly has been pretty remarkably effective in just about all clutch situations this year. VJ's hit a ton of big shots. Maxey's hitting big shots. Joel had some big shots down the stretch in this game. I think that's what kind of separates this team from the last couple of years is they still play down to their competition a lot. They're crappy in the third quarter. They're making these games harder than they need to be. But every time it gets, rubber meets the road in the fourth quarter, not every time, but most times, they tend to pull away and really find ways to produce positive outcomes, which has not always been the case with this Philly team, as we know. So I do think their ability to kind of turn it up a notch in the fourth when it really matters is very helpful. It helps offset those really bad third quarters that they need to address somehow, and it at least makes these games interesting. So it's good from a watchability standpoint.
Yeah, and I want to note here real quick, and I'm sorry, Ben, for cutting you off.
You're good.
But honestly, if Drummond had Bono's defensive instincts and motor, we wouldn't even be talking about center position right now, or vice. If Bono could rebound and maybe be a little bit bigger, obviously they say he's 6'10", but we when he was drafted, he was listed at 6'8". Let's be real, guys. He's undersized. So the power forward position is a position to look at. Center position is a position to look at. With the power forward, I think I just let Jabari Walker. I mean, he's been playing well, but I think I just let him walk. Yeah, let him go. Yeah. You sign Barlow. You keep, if you can flip Wofford for something cool. I think the trade is that you package Drummond and Grimes together and get like a decent either power forward and or center. Like we talked about a month ago, Chris, Jalen Smith. I don't know if the Bulls are in the. I look, he can play both positions.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that he's the perfect solution for this. I think he's more of a 4 than a 5, but he does fill some boxes more than Drummond does. And Grimes, while granted playing very limited minutes, played better tonight than most nights, but still has been having a down, 2026 so far.
Yeah, on that note, the issue with the East right now is it's actually deeper than people thought with the reemergence of Charlotte, right? And what you're seeing is the East isn't super top heavy. That's why they're like, oh, you could, obviously Detroit's having a great year, but they've got, flaws. But between the 4 seed and I think the 10th seed or 9th seed, I think there's only 4 losses in the column that separate them. And that's insane. And then it's like 5 for like the 3rd seed. So I don't think these like teams like the Bulls are going to be, I think they're going to be buyers. And so I think you really are going to have to focus on, Daryl Morey is really going to have to focus on teams like the Mavs, teams that are tanking for Peterson, BYU guy, Debonsta, right? I don't know if I'm pronouncing his name right.
Yeah, Debonsta, and Cambuza.
Yeah, Peterson. Yeah, like teams are tanking appropriately, but like I think you just focus on like the Mavs, Najee Marshall. I think you focus on Sensabaugh. He's a 6'6" guy. Lucas and I were talking about him. He's a really good shooter, right? Team needs more shooting. I think you focus on Missy. I honestly, the last 2 nights, Keon Ellis. I think there's a couple moves to be made that can really bolster the roster because the Sixers outside of the 3rd quarter are probably like the 2nd best team in the NBA. Like their net rating, if you take out the 3rd quarter, is quite good. And the 3rd quarter, when these teams go on these runs, it's not just a coaching thing; it's a rotation thing. And I think a lot of it has to do with the size. Teams seem to attack us at the rim with our lack of size, guard position and forward position. And I think that needs to be. I would say a wing is more important than a backup center, but I would take either at this point.
Yeah. Well, let's go to the elephant in the room.
Yes.
Yeah. All right, let me hit the button here. All right, guys. Paul George suspended for 25 games for a banned substance when he gave a statement to ESPN stating that, quote, over the past few years, I've discussed the importance of mental health, and in the course of recently seeking treatment for an issue of my own, I made the mistake of taking an improper medication. I take full responsibility. Apologize to the Sixers, my teammates in Philly, etc., etc., etc. And he's going to focus on using this time to make sure that his mind and body are in the best condition to help the team when he returns. So, this does save $5.8 million against the luxury tax. Sixers are saving some money. Makes it a lot easier for Daryl Morey to duck the tax if that is his desired course of action at the deadline, as it has been so often of late. Joel, notably after the Kings game, said that he hopes we don't do that we go out and get better. I think that is an opinion shared by most fans who don't care about Josh Harris's bottom line. Let's start simple and build out here. Do we think this increases the odds? I mean, I think we already know Don Barlow is going to get an NBA contract here at some point. Do we think this increases the odds at all that Jabari Walker also gets that full-time deal, or do you guys...
I'm okay with Walker. I think it's easier just to let Walker walk, not to be a play on words here. Sorry, Ben. Go ahead.
It's interesting because it ties into the thing I wanted to mention before. A lineup that was really productive that we didn't talk about in the Pelicans game, the Bona and Embiid lineup was really good because Bona surprisingly isn't a bad perimeter defender. Like he's not the greatest, but he can move his feet a little bit on defense. And Embiid is such an incredible shooter that you can have a double center lineup where a guy can't really shoot. With Joel, he's that good of a shooter and playmaker. And so I'm with Lucas. I think you can actually plug Bona in those 10 to 12 minute Jabari Walker minutes. and then you get more of like that's where you go for a Najee Marshall or Herb Jones in a trade, and you just kind of beef up your defense. But I think there's like Barlow obviously is no brainer, but it makes it interesting. What do you guys think? Like I know we've been hearing the numbers. I saw Adam Aronson's video. He's actually pretty smart money guy, so he made it make sense to me, the money that we're gonna save. I guess this means we're keeping Kelly, obviously, but I don't know exactly what this allows us to do. I guess it allows us to do a full swap of Drummond to where we can get almost $5 million back in a contract.
So basically, my understanding, and Chris, correct me if I'm wrong here. So we were, prior to the suspension, about $7 million into the luxury tax, and less than $2-3 million from the first apron, Chris, if I'm correct, right? So I think that's about right. I'm not 100% sure. Don't quote me on that, guys. But basically, this suspension saves the Sixers $5, and we already set the number here. So we're still in the luxury tax. Let's be clear. However, doing a trade without having to worry about the first apron, a trade on the margins, makes it a little bit more manageable. Now, I do want to note that when Joel said, "Hey, I don't want to do a trade that will bust up our core," he could be inferring either Kelly, which I do believe Kelly's part of this core, maybe the outer part of the core, but still part of the core, or even Drummond. Drummond as a personality in the locker room might be more essential than we realize here, guys.
Yeah.
And I think that's the thing that Joel was hinting towards.
Yeah, I think he just wants them to add and not subtract.
Yeah.
Broadly speaking. I think just dumping Drummond to get off the money would be a pretty bad look. They've done that kind of trade before.
Yeah.
I don't think it would be disastrous or anything. Like, I think Bona is getting to the point where you can trust him as the everyday backup. But
I disagree.
Joel, can you trust him to be healthy all year? Probably not. Like, you do need some depth there, so...
I don't trust Bona to be in every...
It's wild. The team badly needed three-point shooting, and it's interesting, McCain kind of making a comeback, how adding his shooting, just the spacing is so much better.
Yeah.
And that's the thing we're going to lose with Paul George, because he I think he was shooting. He was kind of our best 3-point shooter outside of Maxey, and that's something that I noticed tonight. McCain sort of made up for it. Some guys hit some threes, but I think on this West Coast trip we're gonna notice that shooting, because Barlow and Walker aren't. Barlow, we roll out a lot of guys who aren't great shooters. Barlow, Walker, and Bona. And then there's shaky guys like Kelly. Wofford
actually, percentage-wise, is the best 3-point shooter, but he barely shoots them. It's basically a tie between Paul. Maxey's the best one percentage-wise, followed by Paul George, and then VJ and Kelly are right up there too. So... And then Drummond, surprisingly, and McCain is back to around 35%, which is more like it. And then, granted, Bono has only attempted a handful of threes, but he's shooting 40% as well. And by the way, I know we haven't seen much of him, and I do want to give him his flowers. Granted, it is the G League, but Janai Broom had a 50-point game in the G League. Now, granted, this is the G League. I saw the defense. It was not spectacular. Let's be clear. But... if they do move on from Drummond, you got to take a harder look at Broom. You still do have him on the roster.
I would say Broom is kind of a classic guy who is obviously going to dominate the G League. I think translating it to the higher level might be more
difficult. Yeah.
Yeah, with the George thing, I do think this really does open a door for McCain. This kind of leads into our next point. Like, Grimes, we've talked about the last few episodes and how he's becoming a bit more expendable. Obviously, he's still a defensive upgrade over McCain. We saw McCain get subbed out with about 4 or 5 minutes left in this game. But offensively, McCain, when he's hitting shots, is pretty substantially better than Quentin. And they are going to need that shooting and just that ability to handle a little bit, make good decisions with the basketball. McCain is a very, very smart player, so I just think they kind of need his presence out there more. It seems Kelly and Dom are going to be the 3-4 starters moving forward.
And they should be.
Change, pretty cut and dry there. But, I really do, do we think this increases the odds that Philly goes out and buys at the deadline and makes a real move? Or do we think it makes it more likely that Daryl's just going to shed that $3 million so we cannot pay as many taxes? What do we think the...
No, I mean, I think they're going to look at it like a gift. Chris, you see it a little bit on NBA Twitter where they're like, oh, they can duck, but that's a substantial amount of money you're getting pretty much for free. Because they're still going to have Paul George the last month of the season, 10 games, and then the playoffs.
Yeah, it comes back against the Thunder on the March 23rd, I want to say.
Yeah, so he's there the last 3.5 weeks and into the playoff, 3 weeks and into the playoffs. So there's sort of it's an interesting thing because an injury you don't get this, right? So if our player missed 25 games, was injured, it's happened before. We're not gifted $5.9 million. So this is a very interesting thing. And then people were also saying the Sixers did not suspend Paul George, the NBA did. That's why we're gifted this money. Had the Sixers suspended Paul George, like we used to do with like Ben Simmons and stuff, then again, they don't get the money. So I think you got to take the gift that you suddenly are given. You're probably going to have to get clever, and Eric Gordon, probably Wofford. There's some contracts of guys that, let's be real, won't get playoff rotation. And I think we're really talking about the 8th or 9th guy in the playoffs. That's what we're focused on.
And but Ben, let's be real. Kyle Lowry's there to be a coach.
Yep.
Eric Gordon's there to be the hype man and like the veteran mentor for Edgecombe because they're both from the Bahamas, right? So really, those two are basically, I'm not going to say untouchable, but they're unlikely to be moved. Plus, they don't have any real value outside of being salary fillers at this point.
Yeah, so, I'm just talking salary.
Yeah, but I think Trendon Wofford is definitely, and I know that he's Maxey's guy, but I think everybody can feel that this was not as successful.
It's a minimum contract. I don't think it's as bad as you're making it out.
I don't know. I was hoping for more, I guess. They hyped him up. They were hyping him up. Oh, once he comes back, it's going to be good. He had one great game, and it was a great game. But outside of that, what has he done? Not much.
We had the best two-way signing of the year in Barlow. Like Atlanta, I get why Atlanta let him go because they have so many 6'9" power forwards on their team. Like it was just a numbers thing. But the big thing is if Grimes allows, I think they'll keep Grimes. I'm with you, Chris. I think they need his defense. And when he's locked in on defense, he is quite good. It's too bad his offense kind of went away from him. But the thing they're going to run into later in the season is if McCain keeps getting better and better, it's kind of a no-brainer. You got to play McCain over Grimes. And can you play 4 guys 6'4", 6'5", and under? And I don't know if you can.
The Pacers did it last year.
That's interesting.
The Pacers
they are doing that, but it's like 16 minutes a night for both Grimes and McCain, and you feel like that one has to give, right? Is
like we don't want to see VJ for 36 minutes. We want to see VJ for about 30 minutes. We want to see 32. Maxey for about 35, 36.
Yeah. We want to see McCain for 20 plus.
We want to see
playing Grimes like 8 minutes a night doesn't really feel right.
No,
like so that's where the trade conversation kind of trickles in. Yeah. I would bet against it.
Yeah, I bet against it, but let me play devil's advocate for you guys for a second here. Now, we know that Grimes would have to okay any trade because he has a de facto no trade clause, right? Because of the fact that he took a qualifying offer. However, and he's betting on himself. If he gets traded, he loses his bird rights. Okay, he loses his bird rights. However, if I'm Grimes, I'm like, the Sixers aren't going to pay me any real money. I averaged 21 points for about 3 months at one point, right? I think I can get more money elsewhere. How do I do that? I need more playing time. Am I going to get that in Philly? Probably not. So what do? I ask for a trade. I go to a terrible team, like, say, the Bulls, who known for overpaying. The Kings. Like, find a team that needs a shooting guard, a two-way shooting guard, and see if the Sixers are willing to do a trade there. I mean, heck, you could even call Dallas back. See, be like, I want to come back.
But if Grimes is playing that game, the best way for an NBA player to get his like full bag is to have a deep playoff run. That's how Bruce Brown got paid. So I think And I do think the vibes are really high on this team. I'll say that. Vibes are higher than it's been a minute. I'm going to say that. The vibes have not been this high in a long time. And from like top to bottom. And even with this Paul George stuff, it's still like a lot of our guys were tweeting at him, "Hey, hang in there." That's great to see. You know, we don't know the full story of Paul George, what happened. But I would say that Toronto had a similar thing when they won the championship. They had 5'10", 5'11" Van Vliet. They had 6 foot Kyle Lowry, 6'1", and they played 6'2", 6'3" Norman Powell. So they had a similar thing where I don't know if you guys remember, Van Vliet was unplayable in our series because we were too big. So, but then the next series he balled out because it's a matchup dependent thing. So I think Grimes and McCain are too good to really get rid of because you're not paying much for them. So I think that's a good problem to have. Mm-hmm. I think the other stuff is there's too many unplayable players kind of on the Sixers in the minimum, and I think we need to upgrade that with Sadiq Bey, Herb Jones.
Chris is not a big
Marshall.
Sadiq Bey fan.
Najee Marshall would be perfect on this team.
I agree with that.
That would be my top target, honestly.
Why don't you like Sadiq Bey, Chris?
He's been better this year. I'll give him credit.
Okay.
I don't know if he's really what we need, though. I don't know if we need a guy who scores a lot and doesn't do much else.
That's fair.
That's also what I'll say. But
that's fair.
Yeah, I agree with Najee Marshall. The problem is I think that's like a lot of teams' guy that they won right now.
They're gonna we don't have enough to offer unless
Dallas
we get.
Is going to get a nice little return there. I think if they decide to trade him, which they might not. We'll see.
Here's a hot take, and I think this is going to impact the trade market because of the new CBA. Max contract players are not going to get you the max return in a trade market anymore unless they're a top 10 player. No. Here's the reason why. Because they take up so much of the salary cap. We saw it with Trae Young, right? And there's other players that like Zach LaVine, max contract. You're not going to get a first-round pick for Zach LaVine right now. And there's other players too. John Morant. You're not going to get max value from John Morant. But guys like Najee Marshall, guys that are on good deals that you can get at a bargain-based value, they're going to be the guys that you can get a lot for because they're more valuable. Because especially for teams that are contending.
Herb Jones I think he makes 12 or 13 million. He's a guy to really, I think the Sixers with getting this 5.8 million, I do think they could potentially get it would require Grimes to give up his bird rights. But that's a guy I'm sort of interested in. I think he really, because the thing you have to think about the Sixers isn't the regular season. It's how do we beat the Knicks? How do we beat the Celtics? How do we beat the Pistons? And I think we just need way more wing defensive depth. That would be my note.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Herb makes almost 14 million this year. That jumps up to almost 21 million next year, though, on the extension. So that's something Philly would have to factor in. But Herb Jones would be awesome. They'd have to make the money work. But yeah, I think that general kind of player. I would lean defense and rebounding over offense at this point. I think we have enough guys who can do things with the ball when we're healthy. Now, if we're not healthy, the season falls apart anyway, so who cares? You're looking for guys who can complement Embiid, Maxey, and VJ.
Like Don Barlow.
Paul George when they're on the floor. That's why Barlow has been so successful. If this was a bad team without a couple of those guys like last year, Barlow would look a whole lot worse than he does. He is very dependent on this being a competent offensive roster. So, yeah, I agree that we need to see more McCain in general. Big wing, backup center. Those are probably the two biggest areas of need.
I think you can do all three now because
maybe
it's going to require picks, which we have. But
I don't want to trade any of the Clippers picks. Don't talk to me about those Clippers picks.
No. I wouldn't give up. Well, the Clippers might not be bad.
Well, Chris is hinting towards our next topic.
Yeah, let's talk about those Clipper picks.
Yeah.
Giannis Antetokounmpo, guys, is probably going to get traded in the next 5 days. That seems to be the way the wind is blowing. Nothing is guaranteed, obviously, with a guy of that caliber, but he and Milwaukee seem to be working towards a divorce. This is the reporting from the Stein line. quote, league sources say Philadelphia, furthermore, has not contacted Milwaukee about a possible Antetokounmpo deal in the wake of a better-than-expected first half, but the Steinline has learned that the prospect of teaming up with Tyrese Maxey, who, like Giannis, works with prominent NBA trainer Drew Hanlon, famously also Ben Simmons' trainer, does have the 76ers on Antetokounmpo's radar. This was notably reported before the Paul George news, so we don't know how that does or does not affect things, but it is a very big new variable that was just introduced. We know that maybe the second or third best player in the world is interested in teaming up with Tyrese Maxey, which would increase the odds of him signing an extension before he hits free agency in a year and a half. Do we think the suspension changes anything, Ben? That's where I'll start.
Yes, I don't think it's as bad as the Jimmy Butler thing, because Jimmy Butler has a season-ending knee injury. It is a bummer that it would be kind of a no-brainer, the contracts matchup, that Jimmy would be swapped for plus picks and young players for Giannis. They obviously don't want an injured player now. It would be harder to retrade. I think the Paul George thing was an option, and I don't know. I think if Milwaukee was going to do this, they probably would want to reroute Paul George, similar to when the Bucks traded Drew Holiday. He was rerouted through Portland. I think that would be Paul George would go maybe actually to Golden State, like a team like that that's trying to still, go to the playoffs. And I think that's out the window now. I think the Sixers are sort of, because they legally can trade him, right?
They can.
Yeah.
Yes, they
Yeah.
can.
What do you guys think? Because I don't know. I mean,
look.
The Sixers, we just saw the 2001 thing really quick. They traded Theo Ratliff. He was an all-star. When they found out he was done for the year, they traded him. So, I mean, crazier things have happened.
Well, first off, Paul George is not done for the year. But right. I will say this. Looking at it, me and Chris argued about this last week. Do you do a trade? Because if I'm Milwaukee, I'm hanging up the phone if you say VJ's off the board. And I've heard from multiple outlets that VJ's off the board, and as he should be, in my opinion. Now, Chris doesn't agree, and that's fine. He can sit quietly and stew there while I go on my rant here, okay? So let's just say you can try to get Milwaukee to buy big on McCain and Paul George. Honestly, I don't think Paul George being injured matters in this. Suspended matters in this case, because Milwaukee's not trying to be good this year. It doesn't matter. They'll reroute him in the summer. They don't need to reroute him now because
he'll only have 2 years left on his deal, right, in the summer.
Yeah.
So I think it would be easier for them to just sit it out, tank, and then maybe try to send him somewhere.
And Paul George is not winning anything by himself in Milwaukee. Let's be clear.
That's true too.
Yeah, he's not consistent enough offensively to make a big difference there. I could be proven wrong, but I doubt it. But yeah, no, I don't think Paul George being suspended does not matter. And if there haven't been, to be clear, as far as we know, there have not been talks with Philly and Milwaukee. I don't think there should be. That's just my opinion.
Daryl moves in silence.
Does he?
Remember the Harden stuff? I didn't. I thought
I
that
knew
was
about that Harden stuff. They were trying to trade Ben for Harden like a year before it happened. Well, you just had to pay attention, but no,
that was a little different because James was like the pride and joy of Daryl Morey's life.
Yeah.
Once upon a time.
But anyway, no, I don't think it impacts it, Ben. I think that it's fine because this is one of the few years that they'll still get to keep their pick either way, or get the Pelicans pick if they don't. So I think either way you win.
I agree. I don't think the Paul George thing impacts Milwaukee's side of things very much. It could impact Philly's thinking a little bit. Probably not that much. I don't think they're going to go from not interested to interested if, just because of this injury, especially since Giannis is sort of a long-term investment, ideally. I will say, it does feel like a Daryl Morey thing to do. He has stated that if you have a 5% chance of winning the title, you go all in. And you definitely have a 5% chance with Giannis on this team.
I just don't think
the
you
fact.
do it for VJ, man. I mean, you
I love VJ. I understand not wanting to trade him. It's a totally reasonable stand, and I not even really arguing it. I will say I do think we as fans of all teams,
Yep.
tend to overvalue their guys. VJ has
Yes.
had a very promising half season at the NBA level. He's still a smaller guard who is not the most advanced ball handler or shot maker yet. Could he get there? Could he be the next Dwayne Wade? Absolutely. But plenty of guys have awesome rookie seasons and then don't really build on that so much. A lot is left undetermined with VJ still. And Giannis is like a known asset, second best player in the world when he's on. He's won the title before. The injury stuff is real. He's getting older. All that's true. But
Well, it's funny. Sixers Twitter was pretty funny. It was like the lineup would be Giannis, Embiid, Maxey. I think in this world they keep McCain because I think they would trade VJ. And then it was like you and me on the bench, like indicating it doesn't matter. That starting lineup would
I
be
agree.
so. And then the thing with Giannis is it would up. I mean, our defense would be incredible.
what?
And
fixes the rebounding.
Does
Makes your
fix the
defense a lot
rebounding.
better. Gives you another rim protector.
you wouldn't be able to. You wouldn't be able to double anyone. You wouldn't be able to double anyone. It would be like the spacing would be unbelievable. So it would be very much what Toronto did with Kawhi Leonard. It kind of reminds you of that where they went all in.
Well,
And
yeah.
the
Okay,
Sixers,
so
I mean, they have one of the better packages to send Milwaukee. They just do. They have a proven young player. I don't think any of the packages have a proven, except the Spurs, have a proven young player.
no,
I've
there's
read
another
that the Spurs
package.
don't want Giannis, so
There's
yeah,
one other
I mean,
team.
Dylan Harper would be like the one that kind of combats VJ as like an awesome young guy, and it seems like he's off the table for now.
No, Miami has Khalil Ware, guys.
Yeah, that's not the same. So
It's not the same.
Okay, fine. I will say this to counter your point, Chris, and then I'll leave it alone.
And we have
You
the
say
Clippers picks.
VJ might not turn out great. Do you
I'm not saying he won't
no-
turn out well, but he's not like a guaranteed 10-time All-Star.
Okay. Counterpoint here. Counterpoint. First off, we didn't think he would be as good as he was, and that's just a summer of development. Two, his teammate is Tyrese Maxey, who is going to push him, who calls him his little brother. He's going to push him. He's going to make him the best he can be. Okay? And we saw the growth that Tyrese Maxey's had in his first 3 seasons, okay? And now he's in season 6 and argue top 10 player, okay? So let's
I agree with that. I agree with everything.
so let's not
I
like
think
I'm not
VJ's awesome.
I think that there's a good chance. I'm not saying there's a 100% chance. I think there's a good chance that he
I would
hits
say
his
like
ceiling.
how if you go off OKC, right? OKC's guards, why are they good? They can go inside out. Their guards got a little better every year. Jalen Williams, and they're good defenders. I think VJ is headed in that direction, and that
I
is
agree.
with Maxey, and if McCain gets it back, is just. I think the possibility of that is better than a rental of Giannis for a couple of years.
Thank you.
But here's the counter with Joel Embiid is suddenly a top 5 player again, and so
Well, I'm not going to say that.
it's pretty good.
He's
His last
he's
6
a
weeks,
top 10. Defensively, I still don't. It's getting
sure
there.
defensively, but the last month he's a top 5 player, hands down. No one's playing better than him except like they just aren't. I'm sorry, like
I don't know, guys. I
So
maybe the pessimism Sixers fan in me is saying no, don't put him there
that's
yet.
a great point, though. Is the window for VJ and the window for Joel are just not really aligned. VJ can be a very good contributor right now, but he's not going to reach his peak while Joel is still at his peak, and we don't know how long that. It's a little tenuous.
this is the issue though with trading VJ. So the Sixers, weirdly, if they can get this offseason right, how the Sixers have maintained having 3 max players is by having rookies on rookie contracts for a couple years to balance it out. So when you have a rookie playing at like an all-star level, let's not yet, but maybe next year, and you're only paying him $8 or $10 million, that's sort of how we can get around this max
Well,
contract thing.
that's what the Thunder are doing too. So
Yeah.
like,
That's fair. I
Yeah.
also think 2 years ago, if Giannis was made available, the Thunder would very much consider trading Jalen Williams for Giannis.
that's fair.
Do you think if they lose a couple more games for the deadline, do you think they go on for him?
No.
I think the money is probably too complicated. I think they feel pretty good about where they're at.
Yeah.
I understand. I have a very strong faith as well that VJ is going to be awesome with the work ethic and the personality and how smart and athletic he is. It's very high probability. I agree that he is an all-star. I accept all the risks that you were laying out, that Giannis could get hurt. He's had some concerning injuries recently. He is technically a free agent after next season. But you have to take risks sometimes. This would be the best chance Philly has to reach the mountaintop.
Okay, but we've done the swing before, and we've missed before.
But that doesn't mean you just don't take the swing and then you're the 6th seed and you're out in the first round again. That doesn't mean you should shy away from it.
Yeah.
No, I'm just saying the Jimmy Butler thing was a flop. The James Harden thing was a flop.
The Butler thing was only a flop because he left after half a year because the coach had an issue with him.
The issue, we traded too much that year. We traded way too many assets because we did the Tobias Harris trade that year as well.
The Tobias Harris trade was a mistake. Yeah, that was the
Simmons
mistake.
Was still on that team. You have Maxey, who's playing at a top 10 player level. You have Joel, who's in that range too.
Oh, Maxey wasn't on the team when Jimmy was there.
He's talking about now.
I'm saying now. You have Maxey and Joel, who are two top very, 10, very, very good players, operating at or near their peaks. Near in Joel's case. You have Giannis, who is, again, the second best player in the world. That guy does not come available with more than 1 year on his deal still. You get at least 2 playoff runs with him. And it seems like he's open to an extension based on the reporting. He's older, but he's only 31 or whatever.
But his game relies on his athleticism, dude. That's what I'm saying.
He's shooting the highest percentage from the field he's ever shot. He's shooting better from 3 than he's ever shot. He's adding more to his game.
Chris, my one counter is this. This is something that my Bucks. Giannis, actually, if you break it down, and at regular season and playoffs, he's been just as injured as Joel the last few years.
Thank you.
He's even Joel still, and Giannis is a chip. Obviously, he's done more than Joel. We were hoping. But he's been injured a lot, and it's the same injury. So that's my one worry is that this reoccurring calf injury could turn into an Achilles. We've seen it happen, and he's just been injured a lot at the end of the year.
That is the number one concern.
I mean, he's played 60 or more games in every year of his career until every year of his career. Joel has not done that.
No, but he's missed. He's missed many playoff series. I would say
missed at least 2 playoff series,
maybe 3 or 4.
The risk is there. I'm not saying it's not, but you just don't get this opportunity hardly ever.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
Look, if they can somehow magically get Milwaukee to believe, hey, take Jared McCain and Paul George and all of our picks, then sure. But I just don't put VJ.
No.
I know that.
They might want VJ and McCain.
They probably will.
Yeah.
And if I'm them, I definitely ask. But do they really need it with Ryan Rollins? And I know that we don't like him as a person, but Kevin Porter Jr.? Probably not.
Kevin Porter's not part of their future. So, I understand the risk. I just think you have to go for it. You know what I mean? You just can't play scared.
I like it. I mean, I'm on the fence, Lucas. I'm
saying no. I can't. I
would
can't
say
do that to myself again. I can't do that to myself.
You don't want to do VJ, Paul George, Jared McCain, and all the picks, which is what we kind of talked about last week, which is fair enough.
My issue though is suddenly with here's what I was trying to say. Sorry, I have to put this charger in. The thing about the Paul George thing that kind of screws us is I think if that package, I think the Bucks would have rerouted Paul George. There would have been another team interested in him, and they would have gotten more picks.
Paul George's value is so low, we wouldn't get picks for him right now.
Yeah.
No, I'm saying, but they might trade him somewhere else.
Maybe.
Yeah.
And I think that hurts I would say that's the one thing that kind of hurts our chances.
Like I said before, I don't think that Paul George has value to another team outside of a salary filler. I mean, look, he's still playing great defense. He's making his threes, but as a go-to scorer now on a max contract for 2 more years after this year, he has no value.
He's a very good number 3 guy.
Number
he's
4.
good. He's good on our team. I'll say this: we were talking about both the games, and our big three. The thing that sucks is the continuity, the end of the clutch, the end of game. They seem to know where they were on the court together, and that's what kind of hurts us. Is as we head into this difficult West Coast trip, we're gonna see unless I mean, if Embiid and Maxey keep dropping 40, sure we'll win games. But our depth. If we don't make some trades for some offense, our depth is going to start looking real shaky.
I agree with that. Let me quickly run by you a proposed trade from Sam Vecini of The Athletic.
All right.
This would entail the Sixers giving up only Paul George, VJ Edgecombe, and one future first-round pick, not the Clippers pick. That's all they give up to get Giannis. In this scenario, the Bucks get Paul George, Scoot Henderson, and 4 total first-round picks, including their own picks back in 28, 30, and 31 from the Blazers, and the Blazers get VJ. So the Bucks get their own picks back. They control their draft future in the way they do not now. Portland gets VJ to put next to Avdia in that young core, which I'm sure would be very exciting for Portland fans. And then the Sixers get Giannis. So you're not giving up McCain. You're not giving up the barrage of you're not emptying all your draft picks. So you have flexibility for future moves. You can keep adding young guys on cheap deals down the line. You get that Clippers pick still. Does that move the needle for you at all, Lucas and Ben?
You're still losing 2 starters for the price of 1. You are saving
it's Giannis. Price
Giannis
of 1
is
starter. Giannis is worth 5 starters.
You are saving about, what is it, $7 million. That's nice.
Gets you below the tax.
Gets you below the tax.
I can't.
I mean,
it's
look,
a win
it's
for
nice
the Bucks. They get their own picks. Yeah, it's interesting.
I mean, that it's definitely a win for the Bucks here. And I mean, look, you might believe in Scoot Henderson. I'm holding out the hopes of hopes, but it's dwindling there. I mean, I definitely think about it more, but I don't know, man. VJ, it's just I see it. I see the promise. Let's not screw up the promise.
But it's not there yet. That's so much can go wrong.
So
he's been. I would say, Chris. I have this argument with people. So if VJ Edgecombe was on the Mavericks and was their number 1 or number 2 option, he would be putting up. They would run plays for him. He would be averaging over 20 points a game easily, 7 assists, 6-7 rebounds.
Fair.
I think the usage and him being able to him being able to know where he is on the court with basically a playoff team, borderline contending team when they're fully healthy, is really impressive. He's the only rookie, because Dylan Harper has kind of fallen out of the rotation. He's the only rookie really on a legit playoff team that's really contributing.
Yeah, he's still averaging 15 points a game.
So my point is, I think on a bad team, he would be putting up way better numbers. And that's not really on him.
I think he would be putting up more points on probably worse efficiency. And I'm not convinced he would look as good and feel as impactful.
Yeah.
Cooper's only averaging 19 in Dallas. Cooper's a much more advanced kind of on-ball creator for himself and scorer. I don't think it's a huge benefit for VJ to be in that kind of situation. I think part of why he looks so good is that he can kind of blend in and fill in the gaps and not have as much pressure on him to create things for himself. So I think that's important to remember. And even if VJ is an all-star in 2 years and has an amazing career, if you can get a finals out of Giannis, Joel, and Maxey, it's a win. It doesn't really matter what VJ goes on to do.
Well, no, if you get a title, then you could consider it a win.
Yes, if you win the finals, it's a win. If you give yourself an honest shot, if you can, I just feel like that's worth it. You gotta aim high, I think. That's where I stand on it. I love VJ. I don't want to trade him.
I wouldn't be surprised if we get a Shams tweet on ESPN about it wouldn't shock me in the same way the Harden trade. I didn't really believe it until it happened. If we saw a trade where it was Paul George, VJ Edgecombe, and if that trade you just proposed happened, I wouldn't be surprised actually, because that's who Daryl Morey is, and it does technically fit our two best players' timeline. Let's be real.
Oh,
They're
guys,
both-
we got Shams bomb.
What is it?
The Cleveland Cavaliers are trading DeAndre Hunter to Sacramento Kings for Dennis Schroeder, Keon Ellis.
Ah, damn it. Sorry.
The
Sorry.
three-team deal includes Chicago acquiring Kings forward Dario Saric and 2 future second-round picks.
R.I.P. Dario.
I
Okay.
got
You're
2
distracting
seconds.
us, Lucas.
Well, first off, I don't know why. I guess Cleveland's doing it to try to get more depth. I don't know. That's not like a killer trade for me. I mean, whatever. Cool. Sacramento got a rangy wing. That makes me feel like Sacramento's out of the running for Jonathan Kuminga. By the way.
Yeah, I think most teams are.
Yeah. Yeah. So anyway,
I'm sorry. Who got DeAndre Hunter? The Kings.
Sacramento.
Kings. Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, now you got 2 rangy defensive, good defensive wings and Murray and Hunter. And hopefully Hunter can help, make Murray a better shooter because all the shooting won't be relied on for just Murray now.
No. The Kings don't need to be trying to be better right now.
They're not trying to be better.
There's no point in this trade for Sacramento, is my take. But, yeah, that's interesting. I guess that can start around the NBA conversation.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Okay, let me make sure there's no other trades.
I don't think there is. Giannis has been traded 20 minutes ago. Wouldn't that be funny?
Tax.
We've just been talking about it. He's already a Warrior.
Apparently the Cavs create a $50 million in salary and tax savings with that trade.
Oh, good for them.
And then
what we
Kings established a 3-and-D wing under contract and at age 28. Yeah, okay, cool. Oh, and apparently they're converting Dylan Cardwell to a standard contract as well.
Shams is very good at the PR comments for playing to guys' agents.
Yeah.
Andre Hunter's.
I'll say this, it's this Paul George thing. Do you guys think it obviously is going to affect what the Sixers do at the deadline, right?
Yeah.
What do you think they'll still do anything or?
Yeah, I think they'll do something.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
Interesting, but I don't really have anything. I don't want to. Actually, I was going to suggest that we wrap things up because we're getting close to an hour.
That's fair. All right. Ben, do you have anything you want to add before we hop out here?
Just upcoming West Coast trip. I think this is going to say a lot about how the team responds to the Paul George thing. I think tonight was a good example where they just sort of did what they were supposed to. They had a nice fourth quarter, and BD Maxey looked great. Kelly looked great. So I'd love to go at least 3-1 on this road trip. They've got a back-to-back that's tough, but the Warriors are pretty banged up. If Steph doesn't play, that could be a nice back-to-back win. But yeah, obviously 4-0 would be amazing, but realistically, I'd be happy with 3-1.
How do we feel about only facing Al Horford twice a year?
That's nice. But does this Al Horford even do anything against Joel anymore?
So.
No.
He still contributes. I was watching them last night. He's still out there doing stuff. Yeah. I think Steph got hurt though. Anyway.
Well, Ben, tell everybody where they can find you, and then we'll wrap things up.
You can find me on Instagram at IVYBN1. You can find me on IMDb if you want to see some shows I've been in, and I also write and produce. And I'm in one episode of a show coming on Amazon called Cross, and that comes out at the end of February on Amazon Prime. I'm in
what
one
is
episode.
It about?
It is a show, Alex Cross. It's about.
Okay, Alex Cross.
Yeah, it's season 2. I'm in season 2, and it is about a guy who specializes in finding serial killers. So it's a pretty scary show.
Yeah,
but it does really well. It was number 1 on Amazon Prime. So season 2 comes out.
Nice.
You want to give us a hint about your character? Are you allowed to?
I think I can. I get seduced. I'll just leave it at that. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
I don't want. I can't give away the main because you can't know
the actor that
who
plays
the killer
Alex
is.
Cross is the guy that was on the show.
Alges. He's He was in like a Marvel DC show.
No, I was thinking of what's that show that was on TNT where they were bad guys, but they were doing like Robin Hood stuff.
Bad guys doing Rob. Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
So his name is. I should know. I just don't want to mispronounce his name. So apologize. I've met him too. Should totally. His name is. Oh, my friend Sam's gonna kill me because she's on the show right now. Eldris Hodges. Aldis Hodge. Sorry, Aldis is his name. Aldis Hodge is the lead. You guys have seen him and stuff. He's the lead actor.
I know. I can picture his face. I just
really nice guy. Yeah.
What was that show? Not Burn. What's the show on TNT that I'm thinking of, Ben?
I'm not gonna know this, Lucas.
I'm asking Ben. He's the bigger film buff than you
I'm
now.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
What's Suits? I don't know.
No. It's like a group of criminals that come together and like thwart other criminals or steal from like the rich and stuff.
With the boys?
No. It's on TNT. It was on TNT in like the late 2000s, early 2010s.
Looking up TNT criminal show. Major Crimes?
No.
Falling Skies?
No.
Franklin and Bash?
No.
Legends?
No. I think it might be Legends.
No, it's not.
Rizzoli and Isles?
No.
Perception?
No.
All right.
So you can find me on that. I'm in one episode, season 2. I can't give much away of it. Sorry, guys, because it deals with like, it's not the biggest role, but it's a fun role. And then what else am I? I have a couple other things I can't really talk about, but still grinding along. I'm writing too, so yeah. Find me on Instagram, guys. And
Leverage. That was the show.
Leverage Redemption is that's still cast.
That's him, right? The guy from Leverage.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
Guy.
That's what I thought.
Same guy. And you could look at myself on IMDb too, Ben Franczuszki. Thanks.
Cool.
Yeah, thank you, Ben.
All right. Thanks, Ben.
Everyone should go follow Ben. Is what I would say. We really appreciated having you on. And as always, to all our listeners, thank you for tuning in. We really appreciate it. We are on Twitter at Sixer I'm at Kline NBA. Lucas is at CoachJ_20. We're on TikTok at the Sixer Sense. You can listen and subscribe to the podcast on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcast. And until next time, go Sixers. Peace out. We'll talk soon.
Deuces.
Later.